Hey everyone, Happy New Year! I am so happy to be back in 2021 and excited to share with you some awesome content that I've got coming up over the next few weeks to really kickstart the year and ensure that we have our sights set towards a intentional, fantastic, wonderful, exceptional, superb, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious year. Califragilisticexpialidocious year. So, this particular episode, we are going to focus on how to kickstart your year on purpose, with purpose, for purpose, all about purpose. So, before we start today, I have a little bone to pick with a certain meme that I keep seeing surface on my feed. So maybe you've seen the widely popular meme that goes something like, I've had my 10-day trial and I'd like to cancel my subscription to 2021. And I won't lie, when I first saw it, I chuckled. When I saw it a second, third, fourth, fifth time, maybe a little less of a chuckle. And I'll also be honest, I think I've seen this meme before. This is not the first time that we've decided within the first 7 or 10 days of a year that it's a wash. But this particular year, it really grinded my gears. And I like a good meme. I have a sense of humor. Don't get me started there. And maybe I'm taking this one a little bit too seriously, but allow me to explain myself. I think that meme is a little bit reflective on a non-productive mindset. And I kind of get the sense that the same folks that couldn't wait to say goodbye to 2020 are already writing the entire year off. And that's just me. That's where I'm coming from here. So a year that with about 350 days left to already make a statement to write a year off. I know it's a joke. I know it's a meme, but I just had to get that off my chest. It grinded my gears a little bit, okay? Just wanted to throw that out there. And maybe you posted it and maybe you laughed too, and that's fine. Like I said, I did as well, but the more I thought about it, it started to bug me a little bit. But then in my scrolling, I saw another meme, which perked me back up. One that said, it was something like, we always say, let's see what this year will bring. Don't focus on what this year will bring you. Ask yourself what you will bring to this year. And it was actually a quote from Jay Shetty, which I talk about all the time. I'm obsessed. Our Think Like a Monk author that I talk about quite frequently. And I loved that. And that allowed me to kind of shift my mindset a little bit and get back to my productive mindset, which is, what will I bring to this year? Can you ask yourself that question? What will I bring to this year? And think about what your answer is to that question. I know the beginning of the year with resolutions, goals can be daunting. There's such a pressure to really surge into the year with intention. And oftentimes we don't really know where to start. And if you're like me, I start by pinning quotes and posting them in my workspace and getting, a little bit of mindset around what I want to feel and what encourages me to surround me. And that's good and well, but oftentimes I don't actually create action behind those inspiring quotes. I don't actually set some intention behind how I'm going to live by that quote. So maybe you're like me, and that's okay too. But what we're going to do over the next several weeks here, my plan with the next few episodes, is to really break the beginning of the year down into bite-sized pieces. So instead of eating that whole donut, picture a little donut hole. And that's what we're going to cover in each episode to really talk about how to get this year started and really make some action behind the words that we want to live by. So on to this episode. Hopefully you were able to listen to episode 13, which was all about purpose with Coach Jackson. And we talked in depth about the topic of purpose. And in the episode, we challenged the pod squad to not think about purpose as something tied to your job or your title or a fancy role or your income, but something so much more. Coach Jackson actually in a mic drop moment said, "You don't need to be crazy passionate about your job. Be crazy passionate about your life." Ooh, that one got me good. So let's start this year with the topic of purpose. And when talking about purpose, if you don't start the year with some sort of intention, purpose, direction, we might find ourselves kind of meandering around. And the next thing we know, we find ourselves saying, next year's my year. And just like your company has a mission statement, so must you. So if you don't have clarity on where you're going, how the heck are you going to get there? Right? So right here, right now, let's set our sights. And one of the things I want to touch on too is when we're talking about the topic of purpose is you can have different purposes in different parts of your life. Your purposes can change. They can become more defined and more clear. For example, when I was 8 years old, my purpose in life was to be the best softball player in all the land, to kick butt, to get dirty, to leave the field with a stained clay orange jersey, win trophies, and to just revel in the glory of victory. Right? Cute, huh? 8-year-old Audrey. So, well, I will say my purpose remained very athletics and softball driven up into, 18, 19. It started to shift, and I can kind of reflect back and think about what shift that took. So my purpose became to be the best teammate in all the land, to be a leader on the pitcher's mound, and to keep my team assured that we can pull off the W no matter the adversity. So started to shift, started to migrate a little bit from that 8-year-old mindset. Some of the elements remain the same. So any other athletes out there, I'm sure can relate, right? Once your athletic career is over, you might have found yourself experience a bit of existential crisis. The thing that defined me for so long was no longer. I found myself there, right at 23 years old. And if not athletics, perhaps you've experienced this maybe as a new empty nester, no longer having that day-to-day, caretaking for your children, or if you've experienced the end of a relationship or the loss of a job that you truly, truly cared about. In these moments, we find ourselves in a place where we have to maybe redefine our purpose, polish it until it shines again. So for me, once my softball identity changed, my purpose pivoted from being a reliable, composed team player to finding a way to bring that foundation into the workforce, into the business world, and specifically into my hotel setting that I soon found. So you can and likely will have different purposes in different parts of your life. Your purpose can change. It can become more defined and more clear as you change and become more defined, right? We're always evolving as humans on this earth. So the more defined your purpose is, the more clarity you will have to continue to pursue it. And I'll note this too. While I think that having a defined purpose is truly important, I just wanted to add a caveat as well. Too many people obsess over their overall life's purpose and have those maybe existential crises that I mentioned before, and simply don't focus in on living each day with purpose, with meaning, with goals. So while yes, we're going to put some emphasis on a purpose statement, I don't want to make it something too stressful where, existential crisis, I've got to figure out why I've been placed on this earth. We are going to focus on a singular statement just to get us kind of going into a direction that's going to allow for us to have a great, productive year, and really something that will just day to day continue to remind us what's important and what I want to focus on. So when we talk about purpose, I want to ask a few questions here. What makes you forget to eat? You know those days when it's 3 p.m. and you're like, holy cow, I never had lunch. Or, oh my gosh, I haven't checked my phone today. There's 87 text messages in this group chat. And you say it with a smile and not with disdain. Have you ever had that moment? What were you doing? Were you volunteering at a local charity? Were you running a 5K, a 10K, and you're like, whew, where did the time go? I'm done crossing that finish line. Were you spending an entire day just giggling with your best friend? What was the root of those giggles, I must ask? It's likely that you were doing something tied to your purpose, something that you're passionate about and something that lights you up. Did it feel like you were at Disney World? I'll tell you, that's my personal tell. It sounds really cheesy, but there's times where when I was on the softball field, or when I'm leading a training session, when I'm creating a podcast episode, or when I'm exploring a new creative endeavor, where I feel the joy as if I'm at Disney World. For real, that actually happens. That's my tell. So here's what we're going to do today. We are going to start the year with a defined purpose in the form of a purpose statement. So here's how that goes. It was actually super timely because my coaching call this week was about purpose. So shout out to my coach Robin, who encouraged me to do this. And I'm really glad to share this activity with you all as well, because it was super, super helpful for me. Because again, remember, beginning the year, resolutions, goals, it can be daunting. We're doing it on a personal level. A lot of us are being asked to do it on a professional level as well at our workplace, and it becomes a lot. So we're going to break it down here. Remember, donut holes. Sound good? All right, perfect. So here's how it goes. We are going to break it down into a simple 3-step process to redefining your purpose. Because again, you've likely defined your purpose before, but I think especially after a year like last year, it's so important to kind of hone back in and focus on, where am I going? What's my intention here? What do I want to accomplish in this life? So step 1, and either grab a notepad or pause or circle back to this once we're done. There's a 3-step process. So step 1 is ask yourself, what do I want to be or continue to be from here on out? So what I want you to do is I want you to make a list of all that you want to be. Think of it this way. At your workplace, does your company have a list of core values? Probably so. Maybe it's 5 words, maybe it's 3 words that you and your colleagues aim to live by. Words like accountability or integrity or inclusive, right? Those are some common core value words. So what are your personal words? Think of 3 to 5 words. I challenge you to think of as many as you can and then maybe tighten it up to those solid 3. But for me, I'll give you a couple examples. A couple words that came to mind on top of my head were energizing, bold, helpful, impactful, and present. What are the words that you want to be or continue to be from here on out? Okay? So once you have those words, and again, take some time to really think on that and jot that down. Step 2, what are the things I need to do to make those words true? So here's the part where we make those words actionable. Put the work boots on the words, if you will. So next to each word, what I would like for you to do is write a few notes as to what that might look like. For example, next to be bold, I have written stand tall, speak big, do something scary every day. Just a couple things I jotted down and how I can actionably demonstrate myself as a person that is bold. And that's scary to me. I'm actually wearing my not sorry hat today because kind of one of my goals is to focus on being more unapologetic and being louder, being bolder. You might not know it, but I am not an extrovert. I'm kind of on the cusp of right in the middle between the two. So for me to be bold, I'm going to have to do something scary every day. So that's how I'm actioning that word that I'm giving myself this year, which is bold. All right, so that was step 2. Again, what are the things I need to do to make those words true? Put some work boots on those words. Give me some actions that are going to make that a truth for you. All right, and then step 3, your why. I know in personal development, we talk all about why. What is my why? So in this part, why do you want to be and do the things that you noted above? And this statement can start with something like, so that blank. So, for example, here's the words, here's the why, or here's the words, here's the action behind those words. And your why could be so that I can make a bigger impact in my community, so that I can love more openly, so that I can live more presently, just to give a few examples there. So again, you've got your words, you've got your actions behind those words, and step 3 is why. Why does that matter to you? Really think about that. We're getting deep here today, I know. We're gonna pull it off. So once you've completed those 3 steps, what you'll do is you'll combine those 3 pieces and you'll come up with your purpose statement. And that can, look a variety of ways, however you want to swing it. But one way I recommend maybe starting that final statement is, the purpose of my life is to be, insert your words there. Then insert the actions that will need to happen in order for those words to be true. So that, why does it matter to you? Okay? So that was a simple 3-step. Simple, but it's going to take some time. And I really, really hope that you give it the time to think about what that is for you today. It is such a worthwhile exercise, I promise you that. And just remember, the more defined and clear your purpose is, the more clarity that you'll have to continue to pursue it. So once you have it, write it down, post it in your workplace as a reminder. If you've got a wall, if you've got a sticky note on your computer, if you want to put a reminder in your phone, I really want us all to kind of band together and really work to ensure that 2021 is the year. It is the year to make this happen for you and to live a purposeful, purpose-driven, on purpose, with purpose life. So thank you everyone for tuning in today. Hopefully you found that exercise helpful. A couple quick tips to get you on your feet to a great, great, superb year that I know we are all ready for and we're all equipped for, with some of the lessons that we've taken from last year and from years prior. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the next step. So once you have that purpose statement, we've got some steps to kind of continue us on. And I'm going to provide some breadcrumbs to get us towards making that a reality. We got this. We're in this together. So everyone, thank you again for joining today. If you're not already following on the social media platforms, I've got some exciting stuff and resources I'm going to be sharing over the next few weeks, some freebies. So would definitely encourage you to follow. If you prefer Instagram or Facebook, it's at Oddly Enough Podcast on either of those two. In case you didn't know, if you're listening on audio, I am on YouTube as well, and vice versa. So all of the places that you can tune into the podcast and engage with the podcast can be found on my Linktree bio and link. So I'll make sure and continue to share that with my posts and also in my bio of all of my different platforms that I'm hosted on currently. And I really just am stoked that we are here together in 2021. And I know that we are going to make it a great one, everyone. So thank you all so much again for tuning in. Share with a friend, get an accountability buddy. And that will help us to make sure that this is such a fantastic year for us all. All right, stay awesome, my friends. Bye-bye.